light. It's your #1 security tool. And I've said that a number of times. You're going to use light, you're going to use a good flashlight, and depend on that for security way more than you are a firearm. So it's very important that you secure a good quality light, flashlight that's very dependable, that's going to come on when you click the button. And that's really important. But today what we're going to talk about in particular is mounting a light to your rifle. Now, I've done a lot of reviews on flashlights and mounted them to my rifle, but we're going to go through a bunch of different ways you can do it, because I do get a lot of questions about mounting lights. And really, it's really important, because when you marry the light with your rifle or your handgun, it makes a big difference. Now, we're going to really talk about mounting it to a defensive rifle, such as an AR-15. It can be related to others, but specifically, we're going to show you about putting an accessory rail or using these different types mounts and pressure pads, just to give you an idea and some food for thought. I'm not big on adding a lot of accessories to my Picatinny rail system on my AR-15. The AR-15 is a lightweight rifle. That's what it's meant for. It's easy to maneuver and tight spaces, but yet it does have the range. One of the things though that I do like to add to my Picatinny rail or to my AR is a light source, and it just really helps illuminate. A lot of times any kind of real problem that you might have would be at night, and so having a good flashlight on your rifle can really come in handy. Now, a lot of these lights I've reviewed in the past, and really I've done a lot of examples of shooting in the dark. And you can see just from the example that it really makes a big difference lighting up where you're shooting. I mean, and that's usually when trouble occurs, is after the sun goes down. So having light on your rifle is highly recommended. And so we're going to just take a look at a lot of the different options of how to mount a light onto your rifle. Of course, you've got your old A2 style. You want to add an accessory to it without putting an accessory rail on it, or even like the Magpul Mo system, wanting to put an accessory rail. There is one on the bottom, and this cover comes off, but if you just want to have an accessory like a flashlight, you may not want it on the bottom, and that's the reason for these slots. But one option, which I really like, is to be able to add a small Picatinny accessory rail to an existing system that you already have. So you're not having to go out and buy a complete Picatinny rail, because to be honest with you, if all I'm going to do is mount a flashlight on here, then I have 3 other sides wasted. So this gives me the option to keep my existing forearm and yet have a Picatinny rail system on it. This is the AB Arms front handguard, one of my very favorite systems, by the way, and really has a great heat shield system to keep it really, even in full auto, keep it cool. It's very lightweight. I do love that. I love the ergonomic shape to it. One of the things though I really want to do is to put, and this is the reason I bought this rail, is to put it on this mount. And obviously it has slots dedicated for that purpose. You also have a Picatinny rail on top, but that would interfere with your optics. Of course, the most difficult thing about this whole operation is getting the delta ring back. And of course there are tools that make this really easy. But just pulling this back, being able to get your forearm off. But this is the Magpul 2-inch accessory rail, and it is a polymer, so it's very lightweight. It has these places here for you to put the screws in to go behind it, and you will have a rise right here, and that should go into this slot. Now that we have the heat shield removed, we want to line up where we want to put the mount. One of the things is that you're going to have to push it through to get it to go in so that you can get it inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it in the area I want it, and then I'm going to push these through. Okay, here we have it coming out, and that's going to make it pretty simple to be able to put this right on it. Here we have them in place, nice and tightened down. Going to need to return the heat shield. Everything fits back very nicely. No damage to the plate itself, which makes it also nice. Okay, we have the accessory rail in place. And you can mount a number of different types of mountings here, and I'm going to just go through a few of those. Now there are a huge assortment of lights that you can go with. and the traditional stream lights or the Surefire. Very high end, pretty pricey. This is a Claris XT11, the Eagle Tac, and then I have a Jet Beam, and this is the 3M military. I've done a review on this one. All these have done reviews on. But I get a lot of questions about how to mount it. And you know, there are individual ways to mount the lights. Jet Beam puts out this mount. Olight has a really nice mount itself that goes. But one of the things that a lot of people go with is just a 1-inch ring, and this works fine. You can put a 1-inch ring right here. Now it doesn't look quite as sexy as one of these excellent mounts like this, and to be honest with you, I really prefer this mount. But if you're on a budget and you're just wanting to put something to use, this works fine. One thing I would suggest is to put just a little bit of tape inside, and just to cushion, just so you don't scratch it up more than anything. But it gives it a little bit more teeth to it, so it doesn't roll around. Of course, here's a Jet Beam mount that I did a review on a while back, just a polymer mount. These are all metal, and I really like that. They're just a little bit more substantial. These two will hold the flashlight, and this one a lot stronger than a 1-inch ring. Plus, this is actually my first light that I bought for my AR, and this has been years ago. In fact, this is a UTG, and it does the CR123, and it's an incandescent bulb. So you know, the lumens are not that high on this, and the batteries run down fairly quickly. But I've had this for a number of years, and it's worked fine. But I really like the LED technology. It's just so much more improved over just the incandescent. Now, there are a lot of options when it comes to pressure pads, and this is a great accessory to have, especially if you're setting up your rifle in a certain way, to be able to have it very quick access. Pressure pads give you a lot of access very quickly without having to change your grip, and so there are just a lot of different things that you can do. This one is for the Claris. This is for the Jet Beam, the 3M, which I really like. One of the things too you'll notice is some of them have a push pad on the tail switch and some do not. And this one actually is one of the Olight without it, and then here we have one with it. So you need to find out what you need for your rifle and your preferences, but having this option is really excellent. And these lights are all weapons mounted lights. I mean, they're made to mount on weapons. They have they're shock resistant, and they have springs in here to keep the batteries from beating themselves to death. So just some things to look for when you're mounting your system. I do want to make a note that I have this on the left side of the rifle. A lot of guys like it on this side of the rifle, and one of the reasons for that is that if you're wearing it next to your body on a sling, this would get in the way a little bit if you have it up close. I usually have mine hanging down just a little bit, and this also gives me the option to use my thumb for the push pad if I'm not wanting to use one of the pressure switches. So, you know, it's just a matter of where you like it. I'm going to try it on the other side just to, you know, kind of get a good feel for it to see what I really like, but I've been used to putting it on this side, but I see it a lot on the other side. So you need to also decide where you want to put your rail. But this is not exhaustive. There are a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of different, especially with Surefire and some of those. We're not even going to talk about that. You guys have seen that. A lot of that stuff's been around, even with the built-in lighting systems with your handguard. But those things are super expensive. So we're going to just take a look at some of the more reasonable ways, but yet still to get massive amount of lumens and really high quality. Now, the best source for any kind of light mounting system, even pressure pads, anything to do with flashlights, I would check out goinggear.com. It's an excellent source for all of your flashlight needs. They have over 450 flashlights, so check it out. You can use actually Such in the coupon code and get an additional 10% off. If the order's over $49.99, you get free shipping. You can't beat it. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun reviews and sensible survival. God bless America. Long live the Republic. A light is super important because most You're going to use a flashlight way more times